Look at all these VIPs tonight. All right, guys. I'm Steve Credo.
I'm Jonathan Benjamin.
And we are from another wrestling podcast. Welcome to Poughkeepsie. If you're from Poughkeepsie, you know this is the wrestling capital of the world. Jonathan, we're going to be talking to some of the champions in the ring tonight before the doors open for the general public. So this is a VIP exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a lot of great guests that are going to come on here in a little bit and talk to us. And we have some awesome questions that people submitted on our Twitter and our Facebook. So we're going to be asking some of the questions that you guys want to know.
The GFW Women's Champion, Christina Von Eerie.
All right.
There you go, guys. Round of applause. Christina Von Eerie, Women's Champion. All right, Christina, well, we had a few questions sent in, like we said. First of all, tonight, your opponents, Mickie James, Kimberly, the title is on the line. Anything you want to say to your opponents tonight?
I may not have held this title very long. I'm looking forward to fighting both of you tonight to prove myself yet again. And I wish them both luck.
All right. Now, obviously, some of these women's wrestlers are arguably the greatest in the world today, the three of you. But who would you consider the greatest women's wrestler today?
I have to go with Saraya Knight. Saraya Knight is by far my grandest inspiration. And if it were up to me to say, I would say she is definitely the greatest in the world.
Okay.
Definitely. Now, women's wrestling, this has been a big year for women's wrestling. What are some of the things that you are doing to help women's wrestling continue to get better?
Well, I just want to, I want to travel around. I want to do my best and beat some booty everywhere I can. So I just want to, I want to represent women's wrestling the best way I possibly can. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job so far.
If you had to have your own dream match, who would you want to wrestle?
I've been asked this before, and I still don't have a specific answer because there are so many greats out there, and everyone has something different to offer. I definitely am thankful for every opponent that I'm able to share the ring with.
Awesome.
Now, it might be a little secret to some of you guys out there, but no secret to us. You are also in a band. Anything you can tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. I just recently joined a band. We're called Goth, and we'll have our very first show here in Poughkeepsie, New York, at the Loft on March 5th.
You guys got to come out to the show. This is, we got wrestling, we got music, perfect place to be right here in Poughkeepsie.
Now, tonight you're wrestling in a match against two amazing women, but there's a couple people absent that I don't see here. Where are the Reno Scum?
That's a really good question. Where are the Reno Scum? Well, they're in Reno right now, dominating, but Global Force definitely misses them, and I'm here to represent them all the way.
Awesome. Now, we've got a lot of the VIPs out there. Does anybody have a question for Christina Von Eerie?
My name is Preston. I'm from here in Poughkeepsie. I want to say tonight's my birthday present because I just turned 30. My friend Charlie here used to scared to ask, are you single? And I want to know how long you've been in the business for.
All right, so the question was, are you single, and how long have you been in the business?
Okay, first off, happy birthday yet again, because I remember you from the Poughkeepsie Mall, so thank you for coming out. Happy birthday. I am not single, and I've been wrestling for 10 years as of October.
All right.
All right, anybody
Thank
else
you for the
got a question? Come on up. What's your name? Where you from? And what is your question?
Hi, I'm Alec from Port Ewan, New York. My question is, very early when you were in Lucha AAA, you became a mixed tag champion so quickly. How was it becoming a champion so quickly when you got to AAA?
Though it may have seemed like a quick thing, I actually spent a lot of time in Mexico City training with AAA and their trainers. It was definitely, it was a lot of work to win those titles. So, yeah.
My name is Mike Colon, and I'm from Kingston, New York. And my question is, if you had to choose one of those sports entertainers, a diva on the main roster to wrestle, who would it be?
I'm going to have to go with the daughter of Saraya Knight, Paige.
All right. Great. That would be an awesome matchup.
Jonathan, I think we're going to bring up the next-gen champion, Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay, if you're out there, come on up, buddy.
All right, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Sonjay. All right. What's up? Steve, you got a question for him?
Yeah. So Sanjay, you are the next-gen champion. For people here tonight that aren't familiar with that title, what does the next-gen embody?
You know what? I think that nowadays pro wrestling is evolving, and there's a lot of guys out there that have, traveled the world learning a different style of wrestling, the Japanese style, the European style, the lucha libre style, and that style just kind of evolved into this hybrid style of pro wrestling, and we feel like that's the next generation of pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is going to evolve, it's going to change, and we're trying to change with the times.
Awesome. Now, being a champion obviously has a lot of perks, but what's maybe the hardest thing about being a champion?
Whoa, everybody trying to gun you down. That's what's the hardest. You were trying to get a title shot earlier today, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. It didn't go well for me, though. All right.
All right, Sanjay, now tonight you take on Jigsaw for the Next Gen Championship. What is your strategy going into tonight's match?
I know Jigsaw real well. We've had a lot of battles in the past over the years, and I think we've both kind of evolved into different wrestlers. And today's going to be different. I think today's going to be real cool, real fun. I like Jigsaw. I like wrestling him. I like his style. I think he brings me to my next level, and vice versa.
All right, now. You're obviously one of those people that were pretty sought after, a free agent in the world of professional wrestling. So with so many companies coming after you today, why did you choose Global Force Wrestling?
Well, I think it's important to be a part of something from the ground up, something brand new, something that's trying to be different, something that's part of something that's trying to change the status quo, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change things and offer our perspective, our brand, our style of pro wrestling, and it's fun to be a part of something from the ground up, something brand new.
Want to know, considering there's so many wrestling companies, I want to know if you had one to choose to be long term with, who would it be?
Well, right now it's Global Force. Like I said, we're trying to be a part of something from day one and the ground up and kind of see it grow and blossom into something special. So definitely Global Force.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of talent here today. I mean, you see guys like Hulk Cabana, Brian Myers. All of these guys are here, but what about some of the people that maybe the crowd hasn't met yet? So who are some of the ones that we should be watching out for in Global Force Wrestling?
There's a lot of those. I think tonight there's a Cody Deaner, there's a Henry Maxwell, there's a Kevin Matthews, and maybe a familiar face from the past, a guy like Amazing Red, who maybe hasn't gotten the shine that he's deserved over the last few years. But I think there's so many of those guys that are going to catch everybody's eye tonight.
You've wrestled all over the world, India, I think even Russia.
Yep.
What was the crowd like internationally compared to here? What were some of the differences?
I think it kind of differs with every different country. So for instance, Japan is different than Mexico, and Russia is different than Singapore, and it kind of varies from place to place, culture to culture. But as a whole, I think the international crowds are it's just so special. I guess when you're used to wrestling in your home country and whatnot, and you go abroad, it just kind of changes the mood.
All right, thank you.
We got another question out here. I don't know if you're reffing tonight, but what's your question?
Wait a second. Didn't he pay him to kick your butt a little bit?
That's why I'm outside the ring, so I don't want to go in.
Okay, actually, my name is Tony Nagel. I'm from Newburgh, New York, and my question is this. Let's say tomorrow you get a call from a guy named Triple H, and he wants you to report to NXT first thing. Would you consider that an insult to your career, considering how far NXT has come?
I don't think that's an insult. I don't think anybody calling me to go work is an insult. So if you're gonna give me work, you better call me.
All right. Now we talked a little bit. He just kind of mentioned NXT. A lot of your peers have kind of went that way, went to WWE and NXT. What are your thoughts on people like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and all of those people going to WWE?
I think it's great. I think it's healthy for the business. I think it's healthy for guys like myself and some of those guys over there that you see on the independents. It kind of shows that the wrestling audience there wants something new and different and wants a change.
All right. Now, you mentioned the independent scene. You travel all over the world, and nowadays it seems like the independent scene is getting a lot of attention. So, what's your thought on the independent scene right now? Do you think it's thriving, or is it kind of in a...
No, I definitely think it's thriving. I think it's alive, it's well, it's healthy. I think that's indicative by many things that are out there. I mean, just there's a lot of different groups. And for instance, just the PWS that you mentioned, they're hot and kicking and on fire in New Jersey. So there's groups like that all over the country, and there's no shortage of them either.
All right, John, we got another question over here. What's your name, where are you from, and what's your question?
My name's John. I'm from Poughkeepsie, and I got two questions, if that's cool.
Yeah.
First, we're in New York. What's your favorite kind of pizza?
I guess just pizza. I don't know. What different type of, like, what toppings? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just cheese, I guess. I don't eat too much pizza, but I guess just cheese.
We'll go with the safe answer. I like it. Also, the last year was kind of rough for losing a whole bunch of legends that we all grew up watching. If, you could go 20, 30, however many years back, what would be either one or some of your dream matches you would want to have?
Wow. I guess Tiger Jeet Singh. I want to get chased with a sword through an arena. That'd be cool. Yeah, so that'd be definitely a dream match. Ric Flair, I always loved Ric Flair. Growing up watching Ric Flair, yeah. I guess those are two main. Oh, Randy Savage. Randy Savage. I think everybody kind of idolized the guy growing up.
My name is Zach, and how long have you been wrestling?
About 15 years.
Judging by what you've seen so far and the outpouring of people wanting to see Global Force Wrestling, are you guys going to return in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Northeast, especially, yeah. The Northeast is just this, it's always been a hotbed for pro wrestling, especially the independent scene, and I kind of came up in this area myself many years ago, so I know the fans are hungry. The fans want something different, want to change, want pro wrestling. They don't want their intelligence insulted, so we're definitely going to be back.
If there was any active wrestlers, any promotion that you haven't gotten into the ring with yet, who would you choose?
Sabu. I think that's dangerous, but Sabu, yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. Well, we want to thank you so much, and we're looking forward to your match tonight.
Much appreciated, guys. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
The Mid Hudson Civic Center is full of wrestling history. So, what would be your favorite moment here in the Mid Hudson Civic Center?
My favorite moment. I used to go to a lot of ECW shows here. I remember sitting right over there in the corner. I remember seeing the Dudley Boys. Bubba Ray landed on me over there in the corner during the ECW pay-per-view or taping. That was one of my favorite memories because I don't remember feeling my legs too good after that. But bunch of ECW shows here, man. Bunch of pay-per-views. But let's give a round of applause to Nick Aldis coming in the ring right now. Global Force Wrestling champion.
All right. Now, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, you had
And I paid him 20 actually to kick your butt in the ring too.
All right.
So.
Well, all right. So there's a lot of people here, a lot of great talent in Global Force Wrestling. Who are some of the people that you're hoping that you'll get a chance to compete against here in the future?
Well, you put me on the spot. I really enjoyed wrestling Congo Kong, and I've only got to do it a couple of times. I think that he's got a big future if he keeps going the way he's going, and so I'd be interested to lock up with him again because he's a very unique guy, and we contrast each other well. I always like that.
Awesome. See if you.
So, Nick, in a few weeks, GFW will be doing a tour of the UK. What are your thoughts on that, heading back over there?
Very excited about it. You know, the first shows we did in October were very like grassroots sort of early day stuff, and the response was fantastic. I mean, we sold out Kings Lynn, which is, you know, my hometown, and the atmosphere was off the charts. The response was great, and there was just this incredible kind of energy about everyone that, like, wow, Global Force Wrestling is coming to our town, you know. So we've already built a bit of brand awareness, which is really exciting place to be. So this time around we're doing Exeter, which is a smaller city, but it's, you know, larger than what we did before, and then London, which obviously is the Mecca, and then Coventry, which has always been a good wrestling city too. So it's early days, but the ticket sales seem to be doing pretty good, and hopefully we'll have some more sellouts.
Awesome. Now, sadly, in 2015, there was a lot of wrestling injuries, and you yourself had one. How are you feeling today, and what's it like for someone who's, you know, a wrestler to actually go down with an injury and then have to come back from that?
It's honestly, it's frustrating that I tore my bicep, and you can see the scar there. I tore it in Mexico for AAA at the very end of November, and that was like the first serious injury I'd ever really had in the business. So to be told like you need surgery like yesterday, you know, and to be laid up and have to sort of go right back to square one it's not just wrestling, it's like training. And for me, you know, training and diet was such a big part of my life for so long that to be sitting there and not even be able to sort of pick up a thick book, you know, or something like that. And it's frustrating, and like you have to really mentally kind of check the physical part of your life at the door for a bit and let yourself just heal. But I feel good now, and the doctors did a phenomenal job. Like the surgery was such a success that I could come back much quicker than an average person because they did such a great job. So.
Great. Now, Nick, you are the Global Force Wrestling champion. You're no stranger to wrestling, but also you are a brand new author. You just wrote a book. You just came out with a book. Can you tell us a little bit about that and anything else?
Thank you. Yeah, it's called The Superstar Body. You know, those who have followed my career know that you know, I've been a big proponent for training and diet for a long time, and I've been featured in things like Muscle and Fitness and Men's Fitness and stuff like that. So really, it was an organic thing. Like a lot of the feedback and fan questions and emails and all that sort of stuff, there'd always be invariably amount of stuff along that line. And then I was approached by a publisher to be involved with this other project, and then sort of I used that to parlay into the fitness book. So it's been very good, and the response has been great. The distribution is fantastic, and yeah, I'm very, very pleased with it.
Is that one that you can buy like in bookstores, or you can?
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously now digital is such a huge part of it, but it's available on Kindle and Nook and all that stuff. But it's also in Barnes & Noble. You know, Amazon has a big distribution of it in lots of different bookstores. Book Depository is a big one here, I think, that has it. So yeah, the US distribution has been really good.
Awesome. All right, we got a question.
Yeah, guys, as part of the VIP experience, you get to ask the superstars questions. So don't be shy. We got one question over here. What do you got?
As you came up through the British wrestling scene, now as a veteran, seeing young talent come up from the American side, how are some differences you've noticed, and how are you helping the talent, if you feel like giving back?
You know, the cool thing about doing even shows like this, because of the way that Global is sort of partnering up with different promotions regionally, that you get to see a lot of talent. And the way the business is sort of fragmented now, it's quite, you know, there's a lot of talent, and so you get to see, you know, a lot of people everywhere, and I think that from a talent standpoint, the business is richer than it's ever been. You know, it's very competitive, and you know, speaking of the UK, the talent pool in the UK at this point is, I honestly believe, and without being biased, because I haven't been there for 6 years, like I think the talent pool there is the best, like standard-wise, in-ring and ability-wise in the whole world at this point.
Awesome. Now, you were, you're wrestling here in the United States. You probably watched a lot of wrestling growing up. Do you have a bias towards like wrestlers from the United Kingdom versus wrestlers in the U.S., or were some of your favorites from the U.S. as well?
I was a 90s kid, so really the WWF, as it was then, it just dominated the airwaves. We got a little bit of WCW, and then when the boom period of the late 90s sort of came along, we got some exposure to ECW and stuff like that. But yeah, the big influences on me, to tell the truth, were all American wrestlers, apart from Davey Boy, because he was our big star. He was the guy who was in the WWF and was. But even with him, it's like you looked at him just as like a cartoon character. It wasn't even. I don't think I ever sat there and identified with him as necessarily a British guy. Like Bret Hart and Davey Boy were my favorites as a kid. So.
All right. Jonathan, we got a few more minutes, but I got 2 more questions from the fans.
First, congratulations for a successful injury recovery. And considering you and Matt are both champions, how do you feel the way he recaptured his on Tuesday? And if he offered you a challenge title for television, would you accept?
I like Matt Hardy, got a lot of time for him. I'm glad to hear he's having some success. I wasn't aware that he was coming back from an injury, but I always enjoyed wrestling Matt, and this business, especially now, like with what I was mentioning earlier, with it being very fragmented and very fluid, there's a lot of things that are happening that people don't necessarily think are possible. So who knows? But if something like that came along, I would absolutely jump at the chance. Yeah.
All right, John, we've got 2 more questions out here. Here we go. Where are you from, and what's your question?
Yes, my name is John Collier. I'm from Poughkeepsie, New York. If there was one wrestler in the wrestling business right now that you would like to face, who would it be?
Oof. Well, that's a tough question. I think I guess he is still in the business, even though it's a very, very limited schedule. But I think that for me as a fan and from an accomplishment standpoint and everything else, if I had to pick anybody who was, I guess, still active, I'd probably Undertaker. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, how do you not? I mean, he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I think he's the biggest star the business has ever had. So
great. We got 1 more question for you.
Well, Magnus N.A., I see that your shirt says villain on it. What do you prefer to work as, a bad guy or a good guy?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we want to say thank you so much for coming on. 1 more question for you is, you are a new father.
Yes.
How has having a child kind of changed your outlook on professional wrestling?
Well, ironically, actually after becoming a father, I was more concerned about getting hurt, and then I went and got hurt. So obviously that didn't work. But I think that, not to get too deep, but really I grew up a little bit. There's a lot of things that you didn't. Before, you cared a lot about, and then once you have like real issues, you realize how petty a lot of this stuff in wrestling is, and now I don't really give it the time of day. So that's good, because now it means I can look at wrestling with a more mature pair of eyes, I think.
Awesome. Well, we want to thank you so much, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.